Hey guys, welcome back to Forrest Speed and Outdoors. Today we're going to be working on the XR100, the big dirt bike over here. So I've got it over here. I have actually gotten it to run and I rode it around. We got it a little bit muddy and dirty, but it stopped running, and I know why. It's because the timing chain, when I pulled the bike apart, the timing chain was so loose that you could actually move it links if you really wanted to. So what I did to get it running is I put a new stator on it. This one actually has wiring for lights, which I will probably be putting blinkers on this. So I have blinkers lying around, so I figured I'd just put them on this. But yeah, today we're gonna throw the new timing chain on it and probably paint it up and make it look nice. So first things first I gotta do is wash it all off. So yeah, let's get to it. All right guys, so we got it washed off. First things first I gotta do is actually pull the motor out of the bike. And that is because I cannot disassemble it like I need to get to the timing chain while it's in the bike. So yeah, we'll get to that and I'll get back to y'all whenever I have the motor out. All right guys, so we got the motor out. I tried to take a time lapse and it didn't work. I think I just didn't press the button. The gas tank, oh, it's still leaking a little bit. I'll just get some RTV on that, but these were a bit loose. But yeah, so you can tell, if I could pick that up, all these things are pretty rusty and crusty. So while I've got the bike apart, I figured why not repaint the frame, all the other pieces, and make it look nice. So we're gonna do that as well. So I'll get back to y'all when everything is cleaned off and ready to go. Right here, trying so the right here, the brake, this part, the adjuster right here, is really rusty. And when I first got the bike, I couldn't even adjust it out farther than what it's at. So I just sprayed some WD-40 on it and some PB Blaster. So hopefully we can get that off. Good God. This is what happens when you ride through tall grass. It just gets wrapped up everywhere. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and get all this stuff all nice and clean, and I'll get back to y'all when I'm ready to paint. Okay, so I haven't even started prepping for paint yet because it took me a solid 30 minutes to get this rear tire off. But yeah, I got all those parts over there that need to be washed. So once I get these things washed, I will prime them because there's some scratches in there, and I got some scratch filler primer. So I'll get that done, and then I'm going to tape off what I need to tape off, like the shock. I also need to spray this off, good Lord. But yeah, Max. So I'll spray this off, clean it up, make sure it looks all nice and pretty, and then yeah, go ahead and spray it. We're gonna spray this one, everything white. So this will be white, all the frame that's already white will be white, and then these parts right here of the front forks will be white. I wish I had more rubber covers, but I do not, so that'll be fine. It'll just look not as good from behind. So yeah, and I've actually got new sprockets to go on, so I'm gonna end up putting those on. I got a new sprocket for the front and new sprocket for the rear, so I'll get those thrown on whenever I reassemble the bike. All right guys, so while I wait for the paint to dry, I'm using painting a couple of these things with what is it? It's bed liner stuff, just because more grip, more durable, you know. So while I'm waiting on all that to dry, I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna pull the valve cover off of the head and then try and get that timing chain fixed. So I got the motor disassembled. First off, I got bad news right here. If I set that on the ground right there, you can see that these teeth right here don't look like those up there, which is bad. They should all look the same and all work the same, but I hope I have an extra one of these. I might, I don't think I do, but if I don't, it's whatever. I'll just order another one because, yeah. But then we've got an even bigger issue over here. this will focus right there. As you can see, that one's a bit stripped. That one's a bit stripped. This one's okay. This is not me. I don't know how this happened. Speaking of, I don't know, I pulled the motor apart, and while I'm doing this, I'm looking at like the parts and stuff. Well, this cam right here doesn't say Honda on it, it says BBR. So does this have a BBR cam in it? Like, I mean, it's got a BBR cam in it, but I don't know like if it's stock size or what. But yeah, this over here is a big issue. So I gotta figure out how to get this out without stripping more of the threads. So I'll get back to y'all if I can do that. So I put the engine back together because I can't get those screws off right now, and I don't have another cam gear. So I'm gonna have to order one of those. But for now, I've got the frame. I'm gonna cut these off, so I stopped caring. I had a little bit of mess up. One of the paint cans I was using that was white just didn't work out properly. So, but for the most part, this white frame is gonna look totally cool. So I gotta flip it over, do the rest of it. But for now, I'm also letting these tack up a little bit with the, it's called scratch fill primer. It's really just like self-leveling primer and stuff like that. But I got all these parts over here that are drying. This one I just screwed around with because I know it's gonna get beat up and I'm gonna have to repaint it. But this one, I just decided I wanted to make it look cool and paint it really nice and fancy. Ooh, maybe I should clear coat it before I leave it. But yeah, this is pretty cool. So I'm gonna clear coat the handlebars and all this jazz. That's painted. That's painted. And this is painted with what is it? It's bed liner, yeah. Still a little bit wet, but looks cool. But yeah, so I'll get the rest of this stuff painted and I'll have the bike back together, and I will see y'all whenever that's ready. All right guys, everything is now painted up and clear coated. Got everything over here sprayed, clear coated. Of course the frame, as I just showed. Tank's not, just because it's full of gas, but I got these clear coated as well. Well, not those because they're bed lined, but that's bed lined as well. But this right here is clear coated. That's going good too. So I'll get to reassembling here in a few minutes. I'm gonna end up just throwing the motor back in it, even though the motor is currently messed up in this state. But the Honda symbol turned out cool, so yeah, so I'll get to going on that. Hey guys, so it's a couple days later, all the paint is dried. Problem is I had to take off with it in the back of my truck. It rained where I was driving, so it wasn't fully cured before it rained, and now it's not smooth anymore. So I'm gonna have to go back over it and sand it down just a little bit, make it all nice and smooth. But other than that, the bike actually looks really nice. There's a couple spots where it doesn't look as good, but looks way better than it did before. Currently, I've got this mess of wiring right there that I need to hook back up, but before I can do that, I'm gonna have to fix the motor. So when I pulled it apart, I pulled the cam chain gear out, and that was messed up bad, so I have to order another one of those. And then the screws on the inside over here of this of the stator cover, this little, not a cover here, but there's a little panel behind this which will let me get to the cam chain gear, and that was all messed up, those screws. So I'm gonna have to figure out a way to get those loose and off, and then I'm gonna have to get a new cam chain gear, and once that happens, we're good to go. But while I had the motor apart, I did notice that in the top over here, right here underneath the valve cover, it happened to say 110 on it, and that was a little weird considering when I was looking at the sorry, there's just, that's gas, that's not water. Okay, but so while I was looking at the camshaft, the camshaft said BBR on it. I was like, why does it say that? So I dug deeper and started looking around in the motor, and it said 110 on there. So for all I know, this could be a 110cc bike, and I don't know, I never got it running on camera, but whenever it used to run, it blew quite a bit of smoke. But I found out why. That's because whenever I pulled the head off, whenever you have your piston, you have rings around your piston, and they have little gaps in them, so whenever they heat up they can expand. Well, the gaps on this, the ring gaps, were aligned with each other, and they're not supposed to be aligned with each other. They're supposed to be, I think, like at least 45 degrees away or something like that. So that was part of the reason why it was blowing so much smoke. And then it was running like crap, of course, because it was just out of timing. Whenever I pulled the valve cover off, the timing mark, whenever this is straight up, should be straight up here. Timing mark was over there. So yeah, so we're gonna make sure, I'm gonna find out why this thing's leaking so much gas. Oh, is it leaking from there? Yes, it is. And that's why. Well, that solves the issue. So in the next video, hopefully I'll have the cam chain gear and I'll be able to get this cover off. And of course, whenever I do that, I'm gonna get the bike running real nice. Why is it leaking gas? But yeah, I still need to paint the gas tank. As you can see, it's a nice yellow white versus the nice bright white over here. So other than that, the bike looks great. I would say it runs nice, but of course it doesn't run right now. So, well guys, the bike looks great. So if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, and thank you for watching. Have a great day.